We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Monday, April 6th here in Seoul. I'm Jjimjilbang, and this is News Generation. Joining us today for the first time is Collins.
Good to be here.
Good to have you, and also Kyung's with us.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we're kicking off a brand new work week, and what better way to start than with something new here in the studio. So we're a show dedicated to millennials and Gen Z, so we're always looking for better ways to connect with our audience, and today we're introducing these sleek new name tags that our panelists have to do just that. And also joining us in the studio for the very first time to represent Gen Z is Collins. So Collins, great to have you. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Collins, originally from Kenya. I graduated from Yonsei University, and currently I'm working as an IT technician at one of the pharmaceutical companies here in Korea.
We're very excited to have you on today. So we're going to talk about something that's traditionally been very popular with older generations, public bathhouses. But recently they've been making a comeback among younger crowds as well. So Kyun, have you ever been to a public bathhouse before?
Yes, in fact, many times when I was much younger, not so much these days. It's actually called 목욕탕 in Korean, but you commonly more see the word sauna in Korean, which basically means sauna, to actually find one and to recognize one here in Korea. Now, before I went to Australia, I would actually go to a public bathhouse, I think almost every Sunday with my grandfather or my dad, and it always became like a ritual for many Christians going to church on a Sunday. And when I did go to these public bath houses, I really enjoyed jumping from the hot tubs to cold tubs, back and forth, playing with my toys and water guns, more than actually the washing and scrubbing itself.
I mean, as a kid, I agree.
As a kid, the kids would just run away, from their dads and grandfathers. And in Korea, many Koreans, for Korean dads, their wish is to actually go to a public bathhouse with their sons, or have them to scrub their backs, because it's really hard to scrub your back by yourself unless you have a really long towel. But for many Korean dads here in Korea, it's a very like a Korean thing for them to go to public bathhouses with their sons, which I've done many times. But as I grew older, I became very awkward to go to a public bathhouse.
Yeah, you kind of, I can imagine.
I should do it more often, when I can.
You also see a lot in shows, like dramas as well, where different generations, like sons and their dads sit in a row and then they scrub each other's backs.
Geez, women's have that as well. Like, do women have that kind of cultural thing where the moms want their daughters to rub their back?
Right. I don't know if I just wasn't part of that tradition, but I feel like it's less among women.
That's good for you.
So it is such a warm, nostalgic tradition, something many can relate to. So Collins, what about you? Have you ever been to a public bathhouse here in Korea?
Yeah, I've never been to a Korean bathhouse, surprisingly. But the thing is, it's quite intimidating as compared to Kenya, because in Korea you have to remove all your clothes and get in. And in Kenya you don't have to remove all your clothes.
There's a big difference. So imagine why it's intimidating.
So, but recently they've become so popular that I want to visit. I want to visit them and at least get the experience of a sauna or a bathtub.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's still a lot to explore, and I think a lot of first-timers can relate to that initial hesitation, but there are also several reasons why it's becoming so popular. So we're going to talk more about this, but first, let's take a look at the screen. Public bathhouses carry a strong sense of nostalgia, often associated with our parents' and even grandparents' generation. They're also deeply rooted in tradition, with many Koreans visiting bathhouses before important occasions like weddings. But now this once old-fashioned space is gaining fresh attention, both overseas and among younger generations here in Korea. Today on News Generation, we take a closer look at why bathhouses are trending among millennials and Gen Z, what you can eat and enjoy there, and our personal tips on how to make the most of the Korean bathhouse experience. Just as we saw in the video, bathhouses are more than just places to wash. They're deeply tied to everyday life and tradition in Korea. So let's take a closer look at where it all began. So Kyun, what defines Korean bathhouse culture? What's the history behind this?
Many international viewers would actually have a good understanding of this. Korea, a long time ago, was a very, very poor country, suffering colonization and war, to becoming now one of the most developed and wealthy countries, becoming a member of the OECD. Hence, back in the 1980s, bathing method, back in 1900, many households didn't have a even constant supply of hot water. Therefore, these family members would actually go to a public bathhouse to have a proper wash. And like I mentioned before, it actually became a family ritual. Especially, they would go to these public bathhouses before big events like weddings or national holidays. And the most traditional bathing method is to actually soften your skin by going into a hot tub and then exfoliating by scrubbing it off vigorously with a bathing towel called Iteri towel. Now, it's literally Iteri, meaning Italy. Now, it's not made in Italy. The fabric itself was actually imported from Italy from the beginning. So that's why we still use the word Iteri towel, meaning, bathing towels. And furthermore, a few years ago, Conan O'Brien, a famous American TV host, came to Korea to visit one of these public bathhouses to experience it firsthand. And it drew a lot of attention widespread globally. And finally, after a refreshing bath, a lot of young people would top off their very clean bathing experience with a banana milk, a chilled banana milk, or banana uyu in Korea, or even a coffee milk. And it's pretty much like an unspoken rule here in Korea among many Koreans.
Right, and all this shows how bathhouses were not just about hygiene, but also about family, routine, and shared experiences, drinking banana milk and coffee. But now that culture seems to be evolving in an interesting way. So why are bathhouses trending again among young people, especially Collins?
Yeah, so a few years ago, public bathhouses were mostly part of the middle culture and the middle age culture. So many even closed during the COVID-19. When COVID-19 happened, like they closed. But these days, you'll realize like the Gen Zs and the millennials, most of them are into bathhouses. You go into Instagram, just search for the word bathhouse, and you'll realize that there's a lot about bathhouses. There are even influencers who specialize only in reviewing like bathhouses. They go into bathhouses trying to review. So if you think of it, for the MZ generation, a bathhouse is not only a place to rest the body, but also the mind. If you think of it like that. It's a perfect place to log out from the daily life, because normally you are normally on the phone and restricted, but inside the bathing area, it's restricted, and it allows you for like a digital detox. And on top of that, you have to realize that bathhouses offer various healing experiences, such as body scrubs, massages, and like sitz baths, which are very nice.
I can see why that's such a big appeal for young people, because we live in the era of digital social media. Being able to do that digital detox is so appealing for many people. So it's also interesting how once old-fashioned space is now being redefined as a place to unplug and recharge. And it turns out there's more to enjoy than just the baths themselves. So what can you eat and enjoy at Korean bathhouses, Kieran?
To talk about some of the facilities, in some bathhouses, there's a place called Jjimjilbang and Bulgama. So Jjimjilbang is a big area with different themed sauna rooms. Now, by the way, these places, Jjimjilbang and Bulgama, you go there with clothes on, so you don't have to be clothless, by the way. So these Jjimjilbang, they have different themed sauna rooms, varying from different temperatures. And Bulgama, as you can see on the screen, is a traditional sauna heated by burning wood, capable of reaching extremely high temperature. Now, after you sweat it all off, like you see those people on the screen, you can enjoy snacks like boiled eggs. And the drinks they're having is called shike, which is like Korean rice punch, a very sweet Korean rice punch. And there's also like the mezilcha as well. You can drink as well, like sweet plum drinks as well, and you can even have like tteok, which is Korean rice cake. Now, there's even foods like miyeokguk, which is seaweed soup. There's yukgaejang, spicy beef soup, or even bar-style dishes like fried chicken topped with beer. So basically, you can go there to sweat it all out, wash, cleanse yourself, and even eat there and drink. And plus, there's a lounge area where you can actually just lie down and even sleep and watch TV and pretty much just relax. And on top of that, many Jjimjilbang is becoming a really, really hot dating spot for many young people, because in these areas, there's also like singing rooms and there's like fortune-telling services on top of like arcades. So it offers a variety of entertainment sources, at the same time offering like a resting area. So, and I think it's a great place to go on a date because at the end of the day, it's very affordable.
Exactly.
For all the things you can do there. Yeah.
You can go there and spend a whole day there.
Pretty much.
Because there's so much, like you mentioned, there's so many things to do. And there's also ones that are more like, I guess, luxurious. They kind of have a resort-like feel nowadays.
They
So
do.
that's really great. And all this explains why. Some people go just for the food and also the experience. So we also want to hear directly from our viewers. So we ran a poll on the IDI News YouTube channel asking, what do you most want to experience at a Korean bathhouse? So here's what the results showed. So according to our poll, the top thing people want to experience at a Korean bathhouse is the classic body scrub, taking 51% of the vote. Food came in next at 34%, showing that bathhouse snacks are a big part of the appeal. Fortune telling drew 11%, while entertainment options like karaoke and arcade games trailed at just 4%. So it is interesting to see that scrub came out on top. It really highlights how people are most curious about that uniquely Korean hands-on experience. And to gain a personal and in-depth perspective, we're going to speak with someone from a different country who often frequents Korea's public bathhouses. And that conversation is coming up right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out Channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Julia from Finland, who regularly visits Korea's bathhouses. So hello, thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hello all, good morning.
Good morning. So Julia, tell us about your first time. Like, how did you first come to try bathhouses, and what do you enjoy the most about them? What makes you keep going back to them?
Well, for me, I first tried Korean bathhouses after coming here because I had seen them in Korean dramas. Because always the ladies go to the bathhouse, they hang out there with their friends, the neighborhood people. And I was so curious because I'm from Finland, so we have a very strong sauna culture, and I just can't live without saunas. So, I really wanted to know how it was different. But honestly, I was quite scared, nervous when I first came to the Korean bathhouse because I didn't know what were the rules, what is the etiquette, what do you have to do first. But after going there, I realized there is nothing to worry because Korean bathhouses are so lively. The people are so nice. And one of my favorite parts actually is making new friends with the local ajumas because they are so talkative, they're so curious, and they are always ready to help you with anything. And of course, because it's so cheap, you can have the whole day in the bathhouse and you will not be bored.
So, Julia, how do Korean bathhouses compare to the Finnish saunas?
Well, in Finland, actually, we have our saunas mostly at our homes, so it's more private. We just focus on the heat. It's quite quiet, and of course, we don't wear clothes. So I was so surprised when I first got my set of shorts and T-shirt when going to sauna. It was something very new to Finnish people. I think Korean bathhouses, since they have so many rooms, they have restaurants, they have noraebang karaoke, TVs, you can sleep there the whole night. It's almost like a theme park, when in Finland the Finnish sauna is just one room. So yeah, I think those kind of things, and also because in Finland we don't really eat anything in the sauna. It's very new and different that in Korea in the sauna you actually kind of have to eat. You can't leave out the boiled eggs and shike, the rice drink, and so on.
Julia, I want to ask you an impromptu question. How often do you actually go to Korean bathhouses or saunas? Has it become like a ritual for you as well?
For me, actually, I go usually once every 2 weeks. And also I have one friend, Finnish friend. We have monthly bathhouse date. So we
Oh, really? Okay.
decide on one bathhouse we are going to check out, and we just spent the whole day there talking and eating, because you can get everything solved actually in the bathhouse, so you don't really have to go to anywhere else.
That is so true. So my last question to you is, what would you recommend the most to foreigners who's trying to experience Korean public bathhouses for the first time?
Well, I would recommend to not be too shy. It might feel a bit uncomfortable at first if you're not used to that kind of environment, but no one is there to judge. So just take your time, follow the basic etiquette, try every different room, and just be brave about it. It might actually feel from foreigner perspective that sometimes people might be staring at you because you're a foreigner, but I think it's very important to know that no one is doing that because of any bad intention. It's more about curiosity, and also they want to check if you need any help, because sometimes foreigners visiting the first time don't know the basics or how to do stuff. So there's nothing to worry about. And if you go to a Korean bathhouse, even if you feel awkward, you have to do the full body scrub. It's so worth it. It's so refreshing, and your skin will feel amazing, very soft for days after.
Well, I hope you can get your next body scrub very soon, Julia.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Me
for
when
joining
I'm
us.
going. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We just heard from our guest from Finland about what keeps her coming back to Korean bathhouses, how Korean bathhouses compare to Finland's, and what she would recommend to visitors visiting for the first time. So those comparisons really show how each country brings its own unique twist to bathing culture. So let's take a step back and look at the global picture. So how do bathing cultures differ around the world?
Yeah, so in Kenya, there isn't a public bathhouse culture.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we normally have to dress our clothes or swimsuits and then get into the bathhouse. And normally we have like hot springs and natural hot springs, which people usually enjoy, like outdoor swimming pools, putting on their swimsuits, and you get in and like do your shower and everything. And then in Morocco, we have also like bathtubs, which are famous in where both of them use crab and oils during the bath. And it's a developed culture in Morocco. And then when you go to Turkey, we have the hammams, which are similar to Korean public bathhouses, and body scrubbing, which is also a part of their tradition. Just to give you an example of myself, when I've been here in Korea for the 10 years, I've been playing soccer with my friends. And then after playing during the hot days and everything, you'll realize that you sweat, and after that, most of my friends are like, let's go to the bathtub, let's go to the sauna. But I find it quite intimidating because
So it's the first time you heard about this, I guess.
exactly. So I end up like, should I go or not? Should I go or not? Because at the end of it all, it's not something that I'm used to in
Right.
Kenya, like me undressing, but it's something
That's
that I
big
really
to undress, even if they're your friends.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
The thing is, I really want to try it. So very soon, I'm gonna give it a try and come back with good feedback.
Maybe you should call back your friends from college to play, and then do that after playing soccer.
For sure, that's what I'm gonna do.
So this is really fascinating, different styles, but all centered around relaxation and well-being. So now let's make it practical for our viewers. So what are some tips to fully enjoy a Korean bathhouse, Kyun?
The first tip I would like to give is alternating from hot to cold bath. It's known as contrast hydrotherapy, and it's really good for you with a lot of health benefits, such as enhancing blood circulation, reducing muscle soreness, and minimizing inflammation. Now, this is the most Korean part of public bathhouses, and Julia just mentioned it right before, the whole body scrub.
Right.
In Korean, it's called seishin. So basically, if you go inside, there'll be 1 or 2 workers ready to give you a full head-to-toe body scrub, exfoliating your skin. Now, it sounds and feels very awkward, and I totally get where Colin's coming from. Undressing yourself in front of strangers you've never met before, and even getting like a scrub, body from head to toe. But once you actually get it experience it, it's so refreshing that you'll be going back for more. And it's always the first time that's really, I guess, it's scary, you know, you're kind of hesitant, but once you actually experience the Collins, I really recommend you because I used to go with my friends as well after playing soccer. And I wasn't really close with them, and it felt very awkward going with someone that I wasn't too close with other than my family members. But look, at the end of the day, they're going there to just wash up, not to like look at each other, because that'll be very awkward. And once you actually go into these hot tubs and then alternate from cold tubs, you feel so refreshed, you feel so rejuvenated, and then you top it off with like an energy drink or a banana milk. So I think for Collins, just like how Julia said, yeah, it's true. Koreans may look at you in a very different way because not because you're from a different country. It's because they're curious and they actually want to help you out in case you feel lost. So once you actually overcome that, I'm sure you'll become a sauna man.
Maybe become like Julia and go opt out for now.
You
might go be a regular.
Yeah, separately.
And I feel like for me, alternating between the hot and cold cycle really does take the experience to another level. But of course, there are also important etiquette rules to keep in mind. So what are some key bathhouse manners to remember, Collins?
Yeah, so first of all, I'd say since one goes in there without clothes, I think it's quite impolite to stare too much at somebody's
That's
body.
a good tip.
And then, since you're strangers, staring too much might be a little bit of intimidating. And then you also have to be careful not to spray water to other people because thinking of it like everybody is using the different, like you're using the same area, but just be careful not to spray water to other people. So that's what I think would be really important when going to the bathtubs, yeah.
You know what, Collins? I think you are ready for that first bathhouse experience. You sound very ready. So from long-standing tradition to a modern-day wellness trend, Korean bathhouses are clearly evolving with the times. So what was once seen as an older generation space is now seen and now also being rediscovered by younger people seeking relaxation and a digital detox. So whether it's the scrubs, the food, or the shared experience, there's something uniquely comforting that keeps people from coming back. That brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Collins.
Thanks for having me here.
So cute.
It's always a pleasure.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this inspires you to take the plunge, literally, at your nearest bathhouse. We are News Generation.